at the movies with Tim Sika. Hi, Tim Sika.
Hello, Kim McAllister.
Hello to you. I got a message, and
Yeah.
I don't have it in front of me, but the viewer listener asked about the passing of Robert Redford this week. Here it is. This is a movie. This is a message that came in asking for Tim Sika's favorite Robert Redford movies, which I thought was a great thing. It was a good way to remember him.
Oh, yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, as far as his directing goes, it has to be Ordinary People, which was one of our classic movie recommendations. And
Mhm.
I think his acting. The first movie that comes to mind without thinking about it is All the President's Men, where
Mhm.
he played Bob Woodward of the Washington Post, and he, along with Dustin Hoffman, who played Carl Bernstein, they scooped the Watergate scandal, and
Yeah.
yeah, that's a great movie, and it's a great performance. There's so many good ones,
Do you think
So,
he
but
was a better actor or a better director, or what do you
yeah,
think?
well, yeah. I think he was an interesting actor. I think he was a very private actor, if that makes any sense. I mean,
Mhm.
there was something. There's always something about Robert Redford to me, except for maybe his early films like Barefoot in the Park or This Property is Condemned, where he kind of seems emotionally kind of withholding. I mean, does that make any sense?
Yeah.
He's
Mhm.
he always. I mean, he's always great. I mean, he's always good. Paul Newman is like that too. Although Paul Newman, as he evolved as an actor, he became a little more open, a little more vulnerable. But and they were great buddies. But yeah, no, and that's not a criticism of Redford. It's You asked me if he was better as an actor or director. That's a
Mhm.
hard question to answer. Some people would say his movies as a director were spotty. I like pretty much everything he ever did as a director. And maybe because he acted in more movies, maybe you can make a case that
Mhm.
there's what's that film, Out of Africa? Have you seen Out of Africa?
Oh God, I loved that movie. Yeah.
I did too, but I thought, I didn't think he was particularly good in it. I thought he kind of just showed up, and I don't know. I remember him being very bland in that movie. Anyway, I don't want to criticize Robert Redford, because
Mhm.
I mean, he was a great star, and an amazing actor, and an astonishing director when he found material that he particularly connected with.
Did he direct A River Runs Through It?
Yes, he did. And I forgot about that movie. Yeah, that's up there too. Yeah, it was
Mhm.
an early Brad Pitt performance too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a beautiful film. A lot of people thought it was boring. I thought it was gorgeous. Oh yeah, yeah. River Runs Through It. He did Quiz Show, which was excellent as a director, and of course, Ordinary People. The Legend of Bagger Vance, which most of my colleagues didn't like, but I thought it was really good. Yeah. So yeah. River Runs Through It. I forgot about that movie. Yeah, that's a lovely movie.
I really like that movie. And it's funny because I always think of Robert Redford and Brad Pitt. They just kind of have that same thing going on.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. That's the thing. I was saying that Redford seemed like a reserved actor.
Mhm.
Maybe that was a choice he made, because all he had to do was like show up on screen, and there seemed
Mhm.
to be a lot going on beyond that, beautiful face of his. He didn't always have to say a lot to convey a whole lot. And yeah, he has that similar megawatt star
Mhm.
quality. Is
Like
Yeah,
a
I totally agree with you.
sandy-haired,
Yeah.
blonde
Yeah.
Hollywood hunk.
Yeah.
He's just so good looking. Like,
Very, very good looking. Also, an intellectual of
yeah,
considerable
smart,
repute. So you usually don't.
empathetic,
Yeah. Yeah.
kind, good
Right.
with the
Yes.
environment. Like, he's
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
all around. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
It's
all right. I guess enough about him, but he did pass away this week, 89 years old, I think,
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
too.
I,
Your
I didn't. I didn't know that. He was particularly ill or anything. I was kind of shocked when I found out that he passed. Yeah.
yeah. The first movie of the week is Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey.
Yes, A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey. The first of two romantic comedies we're going to talk about this week.
Woohoo!
Okay, and A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey. It's such a pretty grandiose title, right?
Yeah.
I wish the film itself lived up to. I hate
Oh
to give away
no.
my hand right at the outset, but
Come
okay. Well,
on.
yeah. Well, what this is a fantasy romance, and it's about a man played by Colin Farrell, who's on the left there in the picture, and a woman played by Margot Robbie, who meet at a wedding, and who together, I'm going to skip all this plot exposition. They together literally step through a series of doors to relive their respective pasts. And it's the GPS of their rental car. I mean, this is just so
Oh.
ridiculous, that takes them on this big, bold, beautiful journey. The two best things about this movie are, one, it's pretty to look at, and two, the cast.
Yeah.
There are moments, in fact, albeit fleeting ones, where Colin Farrell and especially Margot Robbie, who I love Margot Robbie, and she's just radiant in this movie, actually make you believe or think that there might just be some sort of decent movie buried underneath all of this magical realism nonsense that's being thrown at you. The real culprit at the bottom of this annoying mess, I just found it annoying, is the script. It's janky, it's confused, its characters seem to learn nothing about their lives by walking through these literal doors that appear in the middle of nowhere off of some unknown highway. And the biggest problem with the script for me is that it asks an awful lot of its audience. I mean, at every turn, suggesting that they fully engage in a full throttled and willing suspension of disbelief. And that's okay to a point. I mean, you have to do that with all movies, but when the deliverables of a movie are as manifestly lame as they are in this one, you just want to throw up your hands and say, why was I even put through this in the first place? Take away the megawatt stars, and I think all you have left with is a tiresome and frustrating journey that is, I don't know, far from being big or bold or beautiful. I think even romantic dramedy fans are going to find this movie very hard to get around. So
Oh, that's a bummer.
I say skip it. You know, unless you're big fans of these stars, then you'll want to see it. But it just is ridiculous, and it asks you to accept all this stuff, and you're going, what? And then on top of it, I don't think they learn anything about going back into their pasts
It's
and
not a
the,
big journey of self-discovery. It's a
yeah, it's
yeah.
just a kind of like whatever.
It's
I
sweet
don't know.
memories, Tim. Sweet memories.
I guess, but not
Mhm.
not, not all of them are sweet, because they, you know, the woman at one point goes back to her mother dying in the hospital. So it's
Oh.
intense. There are some good ideas, but it's just ridiculous. It's
Mm.
like, well, what we're just supposed to accept that, like, okay, that these doors are popping up everywhere and that they know to walk through them and they just met. I mean, what is this? Oh, anyway, I that's enough about
What I
a bit.
wonder about movies like this, you have two amazing actors, and you
Yeah,
you start off by saying what? It's Colin Farrell and Margot Robbie,
yeah.
and you wonder, did they read the script before they signed on? And what would make actors of this caliber go, "Yeah,
I
that
don't.
sounds good.
Well,
Let's do
they.
that."
Well, to be fair, actors get most of the scripts that I think actors get are not very good, and I could see where maybe this one stood out as something that could work. You know, depending on the, how it was directed, and I could see them going, well, this is kind of different, but the
Mhm,
way the movie plays is
mhm.
maddening. It's sort of like, well, what happened between script and filming and editing and release? Uh, no, this movie just did not work. And there's a couple of those that we're going to talk about this week, of movies that had a lot of good ideas but just didn't work. That for me, they didn't work at all, and this was one of them.
Well, the next movie is called
Yeah,
Baltimorons.
the Baltimorons, which is a
I
great
like
title.
the name,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it is good. Yeah, and this
It
is a
is.
film co-written and directed by J. Duplass in the indiest of the indie film tradition and indie rom-coms. And the setting is Christmas. The place is Baltimore, Maryland. And in sharp contrast to A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey, we have a wonderful script here. This is a
Hmm,
mostly two-character romantic comedy. Actor Michael Strassner, who's in the poster there, he's really, really great here. He plays this alcoholic wannabe stand-up comic, but when the movie begins, he's sober for 6 months. Who, when the film starts, he's trying. Oh God, okay, this is not funny. He's trying to commit suicide by hanging
oh,
himself in his attic, but he's ultimately saved by this faulty belt that snaps, and he falls and whatever. Anyway, while accidentally walking into this, how can I describe this door jam of his fiancee mother's home on Christmas Eve. He's looking at his cell phone, not paying attention. So he just slams into the door jam of this house. He damages his tooth. And it being Christmas Eve, he has trouble finding a dentist. But he finally does find one, played by this actress named Liz Larson, who's wonderful in this movie. I don't know her work. I think this is the first time I've seen her. She is so great. Anyway, and the long and the short of it is that this very unlikely pair, this dentist and this recovering alcoholic wannabe stand-up comic, very unlikely pair, share this very unlikely and surprising and also surprisingly believable Christmas Eve together, strolling the streets of Baltimore. And I really like this movie. It was sweet and simple and smart and quirky, very romantic comedy-esque in the pure sense of that phrase. There was a lot of truth in the writing and the performances and the handling and playing of these characters, the sense of loneliness and pain, especially around the holidays for some people, and the struggle to reclaim one's life are very credibly rendered here. I think a lot of people will be able to relate to this movie. Yeah, so what am I saying? It's in the details in this picture that are being paid so much attention to in all departments, really, in the acting, the writing, and the direction, that makes this movie, which is very human and very funny, so special and so affecting. It's another great rom-com. This is like now the third, I believe, I've seen this year that are a definite cut above all the rest, and one that I think will become a perennial Christmas holiday favorite. It's just one. It's wonderful. It's just wonderful.
The
soundtrack,
Baltimorons.
yeah, the Baltimore, the soundtrack, the comedy, it's wonderful. Loved it.
Okay. Next movie is called London Calling.
Yes, another movie mess. Three out of the 5 movies this week are definite messes, and by extension misses too. But this is the second one. The one up next is the third. But I digress. Okay, London Calling is a movie that in some respects I enjoyed, but pretty much hated when it was over. I enjoyed it for a lot of its politically incorrect humor. I mean, there's a lot of politically incorrect humor in this movie, and I hated it just because in the end, it felt like this was a total waste of my time. It's in the action comedy category, and it's an uncomfortable tonal mix of comedy and violence. It's about killers with hearts, I guess. Anyway, Josh Duhamel plays a nearsighted hitman who accidentally kills the relative of London's biggest crime lord, but who then makes a deal. I got to.
That is kind of funny.
Yeah,
nearsighted hitman. The premise.
It is. It is kind of funny, and it's funny that he accidentally kills like a relative of the guy that happens to be the biggest crime lord in London. Anyway, after that, he's got to like extricate himself from this, so he makes a deal with the guy who employed him to kill the right person. Played by this actor named Rick Hoffman, who's very, very funny here. The funniest thing in the movie, actually, that his employer will extricate him from the wrath of this crime lord if he will teach his, I gotta get this right, socially awkward teenage son the tools of the hitman trade. Okay, and yeah, this is supposed to be an action comedy, and to that end, there's a lot of action, there's a lot of lots of killing, lots of comedy, all interwoven into what is, I think, essentially this immoral, well, if not immoral, amoral, twisted father-son saga about what it really means to be a father and what it really means to be a man, I guess. That was my takeaway. The comic, violent tone is uncomfortable. It's kind of awkward. The audience is being asked to sympathize with a hired assassin, who, after all, we're told is just a family man at the end of the day who only wants to retire and go back to his young son. I mean, okay, it's more contrived than it needs to be. It's criminals betraying other criminals, violent shoot 'em ups, at times funny, but really at the end of the day, it's unbelievable. It's excessive, and because of that excess, it winds up shooting itself in its own foot. I'm a bit embarrassed to admit that I found some of the humor hilarious because it's very un-PC stuff. But
Mhm.
even that was secondary and ultimately more in service of the violence in the picture and in what I found to be a kind of offensive portrait of this hitman who, yes, killed many people, but what? I'm in the end, I'm supposed to feel for him because he loves his 10-year-old son. This is weird. Anyway,
Yeah.
which in turn begs the question: who makes movies like this anyway? And what are we supposed to take away from these movies? And why the hell should we spend our time and money on them? So yuck. That's my one-word review of London Calling. Yuck. Just
Skip,
yuck. Don't
skip it
go.
and
Don't go.
yuck.
No, no, no.
Yuck. Writing
Yuck.
that down. Yuck. All right,
Okay.
your next movie is called Him.
Him, oh man, him may be the biggest swing and miss of the week. I mean, even a bigger
Ooh.
swing and miss than A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey. I got to stop ragging on that movie. Okay. Okay. This is a psychological sports horror movie who, God, I don't know. What's that phrase? The this movie epitomizes that Shakespeare phrase, whose endeavors, in my opinion, have ever come too short of its desires, as Shakespeare
Mhm.
put it. In other words, the final result of him falls very short of its ambition, which is mighty indeed, but ambition, however mighty and lofty, does not necessarily a good movie make, or one that you can make any kind of sense out of. So the story is about this young football player played by Tyreek Withers, who's in the poster there. I think he's on. I can't see. Anyway, who everybody says is destined for professional football glory career, right? Until one day when he's attacked by this crazy fan and then he suffers brain trauma. But in spite of all this, there are those who still think he can overcome that trauma and go on to professional glory. One in particular, this legendary quarterback played by Marlon Wayans, who
Oh.
invites this young guy to his private compound for training and mentoring. And then that's when the movie and the story go off the rails. I mean, that's when it becomes a horror movie and horrific. What else can I say? It was co-written and directed by Justin Tipping, who's from Oakland, Bay Area filmmaker.
Oh.
And, I'm really, really trying here when I think about this movie. But I think it's a story about the price one pays for fame and what it takes to be great and the sacrifices you have to make in order to achieve greatness in any given field. I think it's about family. I think it's about fathers and sons. It's an allegory, maybe, about the rejection of a culture's toxic masculinity projections upon its boys and its men. There's a lot of interesting stuff kicking around in the film, but the movie is so mired in its overt and over-the-top style. It's style on steroids that you just want to throw up your hands and then scream. I mean, it's so heavily symbolic. It's heavy. It's obtuse. It's so obtuse that it seems like its goal is to really never really engage you. It practically defies you to walk out on it. I mean, that's how it played to me. And I nearly did a number of times, but I thought, no, I'm going to stay with this. I'm going to try to glean something out of it. And in the end, I just never did. I just thought, this is just a nutty movie. Okay, so what in substance am I saying here? Okay, despite its attempts, its lofty attempts at whatever it was attempting to do, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work as a sports movie. It doesn't work as a drama, and it doesn't work as horror either. It's kind of revolting. There's an element of revulsion in it because of some of the violence. But I hated this movie, and I could never, in good conscience, recommend it. But in all fairness, I gotta admire the effort because it took some very heavy philosophic, stylistic, and artistic swings. It's just that they were all swings and misses. This really,
Mhm.
honestly, I don't know who I would recommend this movie to. Even if you like arty films, this movie was really pushing that element. It's sort of like, okay, what? All right, now what? And there was even like Christian iconography thrown in there. This is like where they were like imitating the Last Supper. I did not I did not get this movie. I think I know what they were trying to communicate, but it was just, it was in your face. It was lots of heavy symbols that really didn't connect in a narrative way. I just, another yuck. Another
Another
yuck
yuck.
for
It's a
him. Yeah.
no-go.
Yeah. Sorry, folks.
The last one you have is called The Summer Book.
Yeah, Charlie McDowell, son of actor Malcolm McDowell, directed this movie. It's a poignant and deeply felt and quietly compelling adaptation of this very famous and beloved Finnish novel of the same name, which I had never heard of. But yeah, in Finland, there's this novel called The Summer Book, which is just beloved, and this is an attempt to commit it to film. It's a story that's set on a remote Finnish island, and one that follows a grandmother played by Glenn Close. Yeah, oh, there she is. They really have her made up to look really, really old in this movie, and she's excellent here as always. It's about her, the grandmother, her young granddaughter, and a father as they spend a season together, sort of navigating their grief and memory and the just the simple and quiet beauty of everyday life. So what the Summer Book is fundamentally, well, for one, watching this film was such a, God, it was like a welcome relief from all the big screen bombast and fast-paced freneticism of the summer Hollywood tentpole movies, in that it's this pleasantly paced, meditative tale of love and aging and loss and the fragile bond between generations. Because at its heart, the film explores this relationship between this grandmother, played by Glenn Close, her granddaughter, and her son, who is the father to the little girl, following the death of the mother of this family. So I thought it was an exquisite film. Probably my favorite of the week, because it deals with things that seem, I don't know, lately to me, and again, this is just a subjective take here. Maybe I'm just, too enmeshed in social media and hanging out with the wrong people. But it dealt with things that are so far out of, or seem so far out of reach to us these days because of social media. How often are we thinking about things like grief and aging and childhood wonder at the beauty of nature? I don't know. And the thing I loved most about the film, because the film is full of them, what I loved most about it is how it made these simple everyday moments between these three people on the secluded island so interesting and so compelling. By rights, this movie should have been a bore, but in actual fact, it was riveting and rapturous. It was just beautiful. I'm getting goosebumps just telling you about that. So yeah,
wow.
It's a movie for our time, really, really for this time. Watching it was like, drinking water in the desert, and a movie that I'm sure it wasn't even the intention of the filmmakers, but it was a movie that made me want to take a long hiatus from cell phones and social media and just enjoy and fully take in the richness of nature and the planet. So I loved it. It was the last movie I saw this week, and I was so glad because I needed it. It was like a tonic.
Oh, wow. Makes me want to run out and see it immediately. Okay. Tim's classic movie recommendation of the week is the 1971 movie The Sting.
Now, yes, it was hard to pick a classic movie this week. I wanted to talk about Dial M for Murder, maybe next week, but because of actor Robert Redford's passing, I thought it would be appropriate to recommend this movie. In terms of his acting, one of my all-time favorites I said All the President's Men, but this week's classic movie recommendation just happened to be Redford's favorite film of all the movies he's done, or if not his favorite film, certainly what he regarded as his best performance, and the only one of his screen roles to earn him an Academy Award nomination for Best Actor. He played a professional grifter, Johnny Hooker, in George Roy Hill's caper classic, The Sting, which won 7 Academy Awards back in 1973, including one for Best Picture. Yeah, it did win for Best Picture, and which
I said
also
71, 73. My apologies.
Oh, you did? Oh, that's okay. Yeah. See you. Yeah. Well, no problem. Anyway, it also has the distinction of introducing or reintroducing or discovering or rediscovering the catchy piano rags of Scott Joplin. And although I feel the film in a way is a bit overrated, it's still a very enjoyable show with amazing production detail. It takes place in the 30s in America. It's got great production design, it's got great cinematography. There's a comfort about this film too that's not only edifying in this weird way, but which also allows for repeated viewings, even though it's like fairly empty. It's so well done. It's so well acted by a cast that not only includes Redford, but Paul Newman and Robert Shaw, who plays a nasty meanie. And it's so knowingly directed that even though the film's ultimate success as entertainment relies on this very specific plot twist, even when you know the twist, you can still rewatch this movie and enjoy it a hell of a lot and have fun with it. So yeah, The Sting. That's more lovable con men pulling off the ultimate con, and a really fun movie. And if memory serves me, I think it was the biggest box office hit of 1973 too. It made a literal fortune for its company, Universal Pictures. But it's just a nice movie. If you want to see a nice, entertaining, fun Robert Redford movie to commemorate his passing, yep, check out The Sting. That's this week's classic movie recommendation.
Awesome. Well done. Okay, so here we have the recap. The Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey, or no, just Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey. You said great cast, but that script is janky. This is a tiresome, frustrating journey. This movie, you said, is ridiculous. Please skip it.
Well, I need to get a buzzer or something so that we could use it for the really bad movies.
We need that.
Yeah,
Exactly.
this would get a buzzer. Yeah.
The Baltimorons. You said this is a great script. It's another rom-com, but you really liked this movie. You called it sweet, simple, quirky, very human, very funny, and you think The Baltimorons is going to become a Christmas classic.
Yeah.
London Calling. You said this is a mess. You enjoyed some of the politically incorrect humor, you're embarrassed to say, but overall, you called this one a waste of time. You hated it. You said it's an uncomfortable mix of comedy and violence. It's contrived, though it's funny. Sometimes it's just excessive and unbelievable. Even the funny moments won't save this one. You said yuck. London Calling.
Yes, London Calling, hang up the phone. Anyway.
Don't answer.
Yeah, don't answer.
Him. This, you said, is the biggest swing and miss of the week. It falls very short. Some interesting topics here, you said, but the style of this movie is too heavy, and you called it obtuse. Revolting violence, you almost walked out. You called it a nutty movie that doesn't work, and you said skip him. As for the summer book, you said it's a welcome relief. This one, pleasantly paced, exquisite film, your favorite of the week. It made what should have been boring riveting. You said it's a movie for our time, and it made you want to take a tech break. You love this movie, you needed this movie, and you recommend The Summer Break. And then to your classic movie rec of the week, The Sting from 1973. Where Robert Redford got the Oscar for this movie. You said maybe it's overrated, but it's still enjoyable. Great production design and cinematography. So well done, well acted, well directed. It's entertaining, it's fun. The Sting from 1973 is Tim Sika's classic movie rec of the week. There you have it.
And speaking of well done, that was a very well done summary, I have to admit.
There you go.
There you go.
So Zero Sum says, even when I was young, I really liked The Sting because of all the clothing and the old cars in the movie. And it's set in a really cool time period.
Yeah. That's part of the production design. Yeah, it's just exquisite. Yep.
Yeah. Nola Vidian says, I'm not sure if I've ever even seen The Sting, so I'll have to check it out and see if I can watch that one. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's on Amazon Prime, by the way, so it's accessible. Yes.
Yeah. Nola Vidian also recommending, has a movie rec for us. Last night, he said, I saw a movie called Death to Smoochie.
Oh, that is a crazy film. It's a funny film. Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You were reading. Yes.
Yeah, no, Robin Williams, Danny DeVito, Edward Norton, Jon Stewart, among others, and Nola Vidian really enjoyed it. All right.
Oh, yeah, it was crazy. It was like a satire on, host, like I don't want to say Smoochie was like a Pee Wee Herman type. But he was a, he had this children's show. It's a crazy funny movie, and Robin Williams is great in it. Yeah, yeah, that's yeah. Yeah, I don't know many people that have seen Death to Smoochie. So,
I don't know.
yeah,
I've never even heard of Death to
yeah.
Smoochie, and I thought I'd seen most Robin Williams movies, so I don't know. Yeah. Okay, well, Tim Sika, you're awesome, and I am so grateful to you for coming on the show time after time after time at the movies with Tim Sika. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Kim, and we'll talk to you next week. Have a great weekend.
Sounds good. Bye.
Bye.